Hello here.
I'm Nick Lewis, and this is Raw Rebellion. I'm here with Mike Vasco, the owner of Be Still Float. He owns it's a sensory deprivation clinic. Is that correct, Mike?
Yeah, it's a flotation center, small, personal, one-on-one flotation center.
Uh, um, I want to. There's so many questions I have because you've led such a very interesting life, but just first, give us some insights into what flotation is, what sensory deprivation is, what your center is all
Flotation tanks are a means of reaching sensory deprivation.
about. Okay.
So there's all different sorts of tanks out there, especially nowadays. There's pretty technical, advanced tanks. My tank is very basic and simple. I kind of feel that a lot of places are losing the traditional sense of what sensory deprivation is, which is no sound, no light, no feeling, losing the sense of your five senses. And a lot of these tanks nowadays have lights and all sorts of stuff in them, and that's not sensory deprivation. And you don't reach that state of meditation inside the tank. Although you can use those tanks for many different things. So everything has its place, but my tank is very basic and simple, and I do other things as well. I do a form of body work, which is a healing treatment called polarity, and work with singing bowls, and there's some other modalities that I do kind of to work with the flotation.
And what is the meditation like when you're in the tank? What might one experience?
Inside a float tank is the whole point of meditation is to remove the external stimuli to go within ourselves. And a flotation tank does that for you without you trying. So if you learn a meditation technique, whether it's with a mantra or some breath work or various different avenues to reach that center that we all have, the sensory deprivation tank provides you with an environment that's already essentially bliss. There's no light, no sound. And on a molecular level, your body doesn't have to compensate for gravity because you're floating on a medium of 90% Epsom salt water. So you're buoyant. It's like your body doesn't have to do anything. So it kind of changes on a molecular level.
Wow, that's really interesting. I've seen in like movies all the, they kind of sensationalize all the experiences and visions that people end up having when they're in those tanks. So I've never actually experienced it myself. I can't wait to try it out, but I've heard a lot of great things. And it's interesting. I was watching a London Real episode the other day where
That guy's good.
this guy was talking about how like 3 days into sensory deprivation, your brain actually starts to produce DMT on its own. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know a guy that taped his bedroom shut to not let any light into it. And he had like people feed him through the door and stuff. So he didn't see light for 3 days. And he started having DMT experiences in his bedroom. I think he stayed in there for like a week.
Man, that's fascinating. I don't know if I just completed a 90-day juice fast. Maybe the 3-day light fast is next. Who knows?
Hey man, we're nothing but science experiments. Just keep whatever your heart tells you to do. Wrong with it,
Yeah, I have been kind of a psychonaut in the last few years with some of this stuff. But you, speaking of fasting, you just completed a 18-day water fast. Is that correct?
I did. Yeah, I had hopes to go a little longer, but I had to end it a little sooner. My body was like, just told me. So you got to listen to your body.
Absolutely. And in a situation like that, it's imperative that you do so. Were you supervised?
No, I just did it myself.
That's pretty brave.
Yeah, actually, I think the whole point, I know a lot of these. In fact, I kind of want to like coach people through this. Is kind of what I want to do, which is, we got to walk the path before we go, doing anything with anybody else. But the true way to fast is by yourself.
So that's I mean, part of me really wants to do it, like, but I'm gonna wait till next year because I lost quite a bit of weight from this juice fast.
Well, it's not. I can say this: it is for everybody, but it's not for everybody. So, I think what you did, you got a lot more out of what you did than if you would have gone juice fasted. Just because out of the conversation we had last night, that I think juice fasting for you is the right way to go, because water fasting can be a little, I mean, it's not the most smooth thing. So
right, and of course none of this stuff is a panacea. Actually, Goji Man just put out a video about Tim Sheaf's gut results from his tests, and there are things that even water fasting 35 days, such as what Tim Sheaf did, cannot fix. And this is a good example of how finding a balance between the holistic approach versus the naturopathic or even allopathic approach. But tell us some of your experiences while you were on the water fasting, and what happened to your body, what happened to your mind, what were the results?
I actually had a pretty intense water fast, because I actually came out of a pretty intense time in my life where I was like regularly working with ayahuasca on a weekly basis, very intensely, and pretty much almost part of the summer all the way into the fall, I was drinking the medicine and working with it on a very regular basis. And then it came a point in my life where I was about to take a break from the medicine, and something came to me and told me to do a water fast. And this is something that I've wanted to do in the back of my head. And I just had one of the most intense experiences of my entire life, like 2 weeks before I started my fast. And my fast was a total continuation of the 2 years of working with ayahuasca that I was doing. It was like a total, I had some nights where I had like complete downloads in my mind about understanding and integration about my experiences. And some nights were really rough because I had to go back and battle some of that stuff that I was battling. But overall, it was great. I did not break the fast correctly, and it screwed me up a little bit, which is why I went and did like a quick 10-day juice fast. So I learned a lot, and I'm sure from you breaking your fast, like when you break fasts, it's like waking up a vampire inside of you. And I ate too many wrong fruits. Like I knew what to do, and I was like, I kind of ate too many different fruits on the third day, and it screwed me up. So
what were those fruits?
I ate. Right. I started off with drinking like juice, and I didn't drink juice long enough. That was essentially the first mistake. I didn't stay on the fruit juices long enough. I read Herbert Shelton books, all that. I knew I should have drank vegetable juice like for at least 3 or 4 days straight. But I started eating watermelon, and that was good, but I should have sticked mono watermelon. I ate like a papaya, and what else did I eat? I just mixed. My digestive system wasn't ready for what I put in it, and it really, really kind of screwed me up. But then I ate nothing but watermelon for like 6 days straight, and that kind of straightened me back out. So,
yeah,
big learning experience. It was great.
The John Rose protocol, he suggests breaking with soaked prunes.
Yeah.
And then the juicy fruits like watermelon or grapes, or
it's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when I do my next prolonged fast, that's definitely what I'll do for sure.
Yeah, I've been doing that the past couple of days. I just did, you know, one solid meal yesterday, one solid meal today. Both were soaked prunes, and you know, it gets hard. It was only 19 prunes yesterday, 20 prunes today. It gets hard to get through them and start to get kind of sick. So and that's a fairly easy food to digest. So I really suggest people take it slow if they're going to break a long-term fast. But you mentioned some downloads. What kind of downloads were you talking about?
I can't explain it, but I mean, I could sit here and speak for like 2 hours on trying to paint a picture for people to understand what exactly I was. It was understanding of just myself. It's like layers of yourself. It's like we have, I had one night where I had to relive a fear that I have, like over and over, and like I couldn't get it out of my head. And when I surrendered to it, I just had to replay it like all night in my head, and that's something that came from a ceremony. It was just very deep introspective work. And when you're fasting and you're tired and you want to just turn your brain off and you want to just like forget about forgetting,
Right.
It's downloads can come. You're opening that your body isn't having any energy on digestion. Your chakra systems, your kundalini are changing. Your energy is being activated for a higher purpose, which is what fasting is for. And stuff starts getting activated and kicked in, and you're just like along for the ride,
Absolutely. So. Yeah, I've had some pretty wild experiences, and particularly with the emotional detox, a lot of things that came to light. And to be honest, I for someone who's had kind of an emotional life, I wouldn't suggest doing these long fasts without seeking some kind of guidance from a counselor or therapist or something. But how much weight did you lose, and what physical transformations took place?
I will say, just for what you just said about the counselor thing, the best thing somebody can do is have someone that cares about them close by, but they will work through it themselves. And if they have nature, like the sun and the woods and nature, that will be their therapist. But you're right. If somebody thinks that they need constant communication with someone for integration, I think that's a good idea. If they have a trauma or some heavy stuff in their life. But I lost like 25 pounds in 18 days. I was shedding the weight.
Where did you start?
I started at $170.5, and I was down to 150 pounds.
And how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Okay.
Yeah. So I started off pretty lean. Like I'm a lean guy. I've always been pretty lean. And then this fast really shredded some weight off. I mean, I've been doing martial arts my whole life, and I'm used to cutting weight. And I've never been that low ever, but I felt great. Like I totally felt amazing. And I actually don't even care about putting the weight back on because of how good I feel. So,
well, that's fantastic. What did you heal? I want to get to the martial arts bit. I didn't know that about you. So I'm gonna keep that in my head. But did you heal anything? Yeah.
My hips, my back. I actually have a pretty severe back injury from when I was in the military, and from training. I've been training doing jujitsu and stand-up fighting since I was like 17 years old, and my body took a pretty good beating the past 10 years, and I had something go on me like 2 years ago, So part of my fast was to reach that deep tissue cellular healing in my spine. And I got a lot of release in my hips and my shoulders, and there's more to go. There's more in there that I gotta, which is why I think my next step is going to be what you did, an extended juice feast. It's just so much more practical to our lives, but I do have still like this burning desire to finish an extended water fast, 35, 40 days. So,
well, this is what they say is that animals in nature, when they get injured, have this some kind of deformity from an injury or whatever, they'll go and they just won't eat for a month or just live off of water and hibernate or something, and they'll come out good as new or pretty healed up. So it's
same thing for us.
Right, we're not much different. So about the jiu-jitsu, what belt are you?
I'm a brown belt under Renzo Gracie.
Wow, yeah, under Gracie, that's great.
Yeah, it was pretty. I haven't really trained in over, I'd say, a solid year. I was teaching and everything, and when the injury came, I had to step away and go do some other things. But I think I will return to it one day. It's just,
I mean, it is the most effective form of martial arts when put up against anything else in the ring. So that's great. Brown belt under Gracie, and you were a trainer.
It's a good sport. Yeah.
It would be. I hope to hear that you end up getting involved in that again. So
yeah, actually, a guy I used to train with. He's a world champ, black belt. He runs a school in Boston.
No kidding. Tell me more about this.
I'll have to tell. I don't have much more. I ran into him like a while ago after he won the Worlds, and I don't know the name of his school. His name's Sean Fisher. I don't know the name of his school, but I know that it's in Boston. That's all that I know.
Well, that's really good information because I was planning once I started eating solid food again that I would be returning to martial arts myself. I trained on and off throughout my life in different modalities, and MMA has always been my favorite form, or Jeet Kune Do, but definitely want to look into different options that I have here. So
yeah.
But tell me about, now let's get into the military, because the life you're leading now is it's kind of very opposing with a lot of the views that many people in the military hold.
Yeah, I'm actually the complete opposite of everything that the military has. I don't even know what to say about. Just the complete opposite. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, once you see the other side, it's kind of, there's no going back. So.
Well, you mentioned that a significant amount of physical and maybe emotional damage happened to you while you were in the military, that this was part of your healing from that. So how did you maybe explain to us what some of those things were that you went through while you were in the Marines, and then how you transitioned into this lifestyle?
So my job was, I was a machine gunner, which is a job in the infantry. It's a very difficult job. It's very physically demanding, and it's probably one of the most physically demanding jobs in the infantry, probably in the entire Marine Corps, to put it bluntly. It's because we just carry the heaviest stuff. It's kind of ridiculous, some of the stuff that Marines are meant to carry, period. But the machine gunner's job is to carry heavy stuff. So my spine and body just took a lot of abuse. And, like when we were deployed to Afghanistan, I deployed to Afghanistan, and it was really hard on the body, and and the mind and the spirit. You know, the stuff that we got to go through to come home is to survive. You know, you have to build yourself up tremendously, physically, mentally, and emotionally, to be able to handle all the stuff that you have to deal with when you finally deploy. It's like you build yourself up. It's like you're a pit bull in a cage, and they poke you and they prod you and they make you angry, and they mess with you, and then they let you out of the cage. And so you're mentally conditioned in a way to survive in an environment that's like being on the moon, right? And then when you come back from the moon, they just expect you to somehow survive around here in the normal day-to-day life. But your head's still like programmed for the moon, you know? So when I got out, you know, alcohol was a huge issue for me. I was an incredible binge drinking crazy nut, like most guys in my realm of the world are. I was kind of a danger to myself, I was more a danger to myself, but still I was kind of living on the edge in my head. And you know, war is not something that is good, and it's not something that's bad. It's something that shouldn't exist. So it's like we're not supposed to experience that, but we do because we're so far from natural design. You know what I mean? And there's deeper layers to go into all that. But so when you start to recondition your mind away from that process, you have to look at yourself and see who you are and what you really did and how much you were a mess. And that process is not easy, is seeing yourself. And then when you see yourself, then you can start to heal yourself. But most people don't want to look at themselves, you know? And if I wouldn't have found ayahuasca, I don't know what would have happened to my life, because that is the mirror for you to see yourself, so you know what to change. And when that aggression and hostility and anger and violence starts to leave your body, it's not the prettiest thing, but you got to go through it. So I kind of tell people it's like this. There's like a pendulum swinging, and I was kind of all the way on one side, just stuck up here. And when I started to do things in my life to get the pendulum swinging the other way, I just used the momentum to ride it to the other side the best that I could. And then you got to kind of maintain it, and you got to find your center, because you want to stop the pendulum from swinging. That's kind of the key. So when you find the center, that's when the ease and the peace and all that starts to come into your life. But it took a lot of work. It took me a long time to be able to be where I'm at right now. Full-time job. I got out in 2013, but I was a mess for like 5 years. I mean, in the civilian world, I was a wreck in here, you know, like most guys are from my background. But it took probably the first thing I did was I found transcendental meditation, and I'm not sure if you ever heard of that. It's called TM.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started meditating on a regular basis, that helped like a drop in the bucket. And then when I found ayahuasca, that was that was it for me. That's what just started me down the whole path of healing. So
what brought you to those modes of healing? Because, you know, I know quite a few people that were in the military that were in Iraq and Afghanistan, and only, you know, I'd say like only a very small percentage of them are interested in doing the psychedelics and the meditation and the healing, you know.
It's not easy, that's why. And
yeah,
the truth of it is, and probably most guys won't agree with me, and they might even get pissed off, But the truth of it is in order to survive in the military, you got to have an ego, like a freaking huge ego, because it's all ego. That's all it is when you're living through ego, you go off and do this kind of stuff. And that's what war is. It's just a clash of egos. So what self-realization will do to you is it shows you that you're living through your ego, and you gotta crush your ego. And the first thing psychedelics do before it shows you visions, especially ayahuasca, before you learn about the universe, before you learn the deep secrets of the world, before it shows you beautiful visions, before it gives you peace and love, you go through an ego destruction. And not until your ego is subsided will it start to teach you the blessings and the gifts that ayahuasca can give you. But first, so guys, they come out of the military, they're still living in the ego because they can't let that go, because it's all we know. That's why so many guys that are out of the military, they're the same guy when they're 50, when they were still in, because they're still replaying that in their head every day. It's like they never transcend that space in their mind.
Computer program.
Yeah, we're programmed, man. Yeah. The United States military knows how to program us better than anyone ever. Like, we sat through brainwashing to get to in order for us to become what we are. People don't know that, what we go through. Like, they brainwash us. So, it's a systematic brainwashing.
And it kind of leaks out into the general population of civilians, what they do in the government indoctrination centers, and even just when you turn on the TV. So,
well, that's a form of brainwashing, but the military specifically, in order to make you violent and hostile and aggressive and all that kind of stuff, which you need to be to survive where you're going to be going. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a conundrum. It's like, if they didn't do that to you, you would, it's like sending a dog to go fight a bear. If he's not programmed with that fight in him yet, he's going to get destroyed. So, but yeah, they hit us all angles. They hit us with the verbal abuse, the physical brainwashing, the TV stuff, everything to get our brains just, programmed.
And you had to also go through some vaccinations as well.
Phew. Brother, I got hit with so many vaccinations. In fact, there's been instances where the military, or the Navy is who runs the Marines paperwork. I don't know who the Army does, but whatever. But they'll lose your paperwork, and they'll call you back up and be like, "Yeah, you got to get that shot again because, it's an anthrax shot, but it's no big deal. You have to get that again because we lost your paperwork." And you have the scar to prove it that you got it done, but they don't care.
Well, was there any side effects that you experienced from getting over vaccinated?
Yeah, I mean, they gave us smallpox, right? We had to get the smallpox shot, and our arm had this spot on it where it looked like we had smallpox on our arm for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we were all sick, we were all dying for 2 weeks. Eventually we got better, but me personally, when I got out of the military, I was very sick from all that.
So who introduced you to the meditation and then the ayahuasca? What actually made you decide that those were the things you were gonna use to heal yourself?
Well, the transcendental meditation I started doing because of a roommate. I saw a significant change in him, so I was like, hey, I need some help. I'm going to try it. And then the ayahuasca, man, that's some stuff on another level, because when you decide to do it the path is kind of unfolded for you, and it sounds like so kind of fluffy and puffy to say stuff like that, but it's true because I experienced DMT, and that's what led me to find the plant because and I ended up driving 13 hours away to just go into the woods with a bunch of strangers, and that's how my journey started. And I traveled to Peru, traveled to Brazil to work with the medicine there, and so it's just kind of like once you decide to do it, there's no turning back. Just like when you decide to do a fast, like people are gonna call you nuts, but you're gonna do it because you know it's right.
Absolutely.
When I went to do my fast, my 18-day water fast, people were like pissed. They were like annoyed, and like they were kind of like aggressive towards me that I was doing that because it's something in them gets agitated when people around them do this kind of stuff because one, I feel that it's truth and they don't want to accept it. That's the way I see it.
It kind of challenges their egos in a way, doesn't it?
100%, man. You said it. Yep.
So how many times have you drank the ayahuasca, if you could count?
Well, I don't count, but a lot.
Yeah.
It's part of my life. You know what I mean? So it's like counting. I don't even count. It's just part of my life. It's just like it's just something that I do now. So.
Is it like frequently?
Well, right now, no. I'm on a total break right now. I'm stepping away from it, living my life, taking a break. I plan to return to it sometime next year. Hopefully, maybe who knows when. But right now, it's just still continuing from everything that I've learned. You know what I mean?
Right. And you have a YouTube channel, and you discuss some of these things, and you're also starting to do juice videos.
Yeah.
Where you show people different juice recipes, and like you said, you just finished the 10-day juice feast, which was tell us about that. Tell us what your favorite juices were, and
I
what worked for you.
It was fun for me. It was actually really easy from just getting out of the water fast.
I can imagine.
But yeah, I just started the YouTube channel because I just felt like we got to put more of this stuff out there because there's so much garbage in the world, and I just want to feed the other side. And but as for my favorite juices, I would just say like, man, if anyone has never had like a organic, just fresh squeezed apple juice, they've never been alive. You know what I mean? I just bought the Omega juicer,
Excellent.
the masticating one, and I had a Breville,
Beautiful.
and man, the Omega is so much nicer. It's really is. Well, what juicer did you use for your piece?
I mean, give you that juice quickly, but the Omega gives you the nutrients, man, and the yield.
The yield, and it's not even that much slower because you use less vegetables to get as much juice.
True.
So I've timed it. And plus with the cleanup and all that, I've timed it. It's pretty much almost quicker.
Yeah, I actually just picked up an Omega VSJ 843.
That's the up and down one, right?
Just for like, it was going for $400 new. So Craigslist and find an Omega juicer for at least a third or a quarter of the price.
Cool.
But yeah, I was watching, actually, I think I found you on Arnold's channel, and I was like, this guy's interesting. Then the first video of yours that I watched was about meditation. Who's sort of the guy inside the box, and then seeing himself from all different directions. I just that ever since I started and
am I
when I
coming?
started
Am I coming through to you right now? Because you're really choppy.
More. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, as long as I'm coming through to you, you're breaking up real bad for me.
Okay. No, I was just saying that video about the you did that's it in your channel. You might be having some technical difficulties.
Hey, I'm barely hearing you.
See if this helps. Hold on, let me try something. I think I might just need to cool off the computer a little bit. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're still pretty choppy.
I think it just might be the computer's overheated. Let's see, doing this.
Am I coming through pretty good?
Yeah, you're coming through. You're fine.
Okay.
We better? Or we good now?
Yeah, you're getting better. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think it was just the computer was overheating.
Okay.
So, yeah. So no, I was just saying that the video on your channel about the meditation was that really spoke to me. So I've actually in the past few months I started doing meditation twice a day, either 10 or 20 minutes at a time. But you have a lot more experience with that now. So is there any advice you could give people about if they're trying to start meditation, a good starting point?
Yeah, I've just from working with people from my business, a lot of people, they think that meditation needs to be like right off the bat, like an hour a day or something, do what you can when you can and make sure that the consistency is there, because meditation builds off of consistency, not like quantity, essentially. Even though consistency builds quantity, but the quantity is built over time. So if you can't do half an hour every day, even 10 minutes a day, as long as it's daily, if you can do 20 minutes twice a day, as long as it's 20 minutes twice a day, consistency is where it's at. And perfecting it. Meditation is an art. It's like building a muscle. And learning how to integrate and use it in your life as a tool is the key.
Right. I'll sit and I'll do a mantra that I learned at the Zen Center here, and it's actually in Cambridge, and I'll be thinking it in my head as I breathe in. I'll go clear mind, clear mind, clear mind, and on the exhale, know nothing. And this is what I do in my head, and sometimes I try and they actually told me not to, if I can, not to close my eyes and just stare at a blank wall.
Yeah,
because
that's the Zen. That's how the Zen sitting works.
So and a lot of times I end up closing my eyes, and my mind will just wander, and I feel like I have a hard time centering myself. What do you think I could do to get more in the, I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to let my mind wander.
Well, I don't know too much about the Zen practice, although I have been wanting to try it. I actually have a friend of mine that just became a monk at the Zen Center in New York somewhere. It's not the Cambridge one though. It's one of them in New York. I forget which one. The type of meditation I do is a mantra meditation, the transcendental meditation. I also have my float tank. I also do breathing techniques when I have the spare time. But the transcendental meditation is my consistent concrete in my life. And I use other mantras too for different things. But so your question is, how do you tame the mind, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't really look at it like trying to tame the mind, because I would look at it like when thoughts are coming into your mind and they're flying by you like a billboard on the side of the road, like you're driving down the street. To not be attached to them is like the main step. To watch them go by and learn and experience like what your mind is doing, because you are not your mind. And when we learn that we are separate from our mind, it's kind of like a big step. And then you can go deeper into settling your mind down. But because we have the conscious and then we have the subconscious. And but just watch your thoughts go by and don't be attached to them. And you'll probably learn a lot about yourself. You know, just focus on being in your breath, something that will stabilize yourself. And just don't be attached to your thoughts. Don't let them run away on you. Is really what I would suggest. But once again, I don't really know too much about the Zen practice and how they navigate the consciousness in their own way. So,
What in TM, when you use the mantra, is it spoken out loud?
no, you never speak it. It's given to you by your teacher, and it's a very personal thing. I've never spoke the mantra, and been meditating, been doing TM now for like probably, I don't know, close to like 3 or 4 years now. And you don't speak it. You don't taint it with sound.
So, how often do people come in seeking your advice about meditation and holistic healing and to use the tanks? Is it you have a lot of daily customers, or is it by appointment?
I'll have like a full week for me is like, if I have 10 people, that's probably like a good week for me. Because I spend time with you one-on-one, and I also do a body work called polarity, which is like it's in the healing arts. So that takes a lot of time that I'll spend with you. And if you decide to go down that route, there's mantras that I work with that I give people, and we'll go over with them how to meditate and other things, and health coaching and all that's part of the polarity in general. So it's kind of like when people walk through the door, however, really whatever they're looking for, I can kind of mold what they hopefully will benefit them, essentially.
What is polarity?
It's a form of body work. It's an energy healing that runs off of like the 5 elements and your 7 chakras, and it works on aligning those energy systems in your body to kick out the blockages and the imbalances, to get your body running at its full potential.
So you actually, is it physical? You touch?
It's a very gentle, loving, non-invasive light touch body work. Sometimes
Okay.
I'll work in your aura, or sometimes I'll actually very lightly be touching your body.
Is it similar to Reiki?
Reiki is like in the same school, but it's kind of nothing like Reiki, but it's kind of like Reiki, if that makes sense.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So now you're eating a 100% raw vegan diet at this point.
At this point, yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Since I broke my fast, it's been about like 2 months. It's been about, yeah, I've been fully raw for like a month and a half. And I can't say I feel great. I mean, I plan on sticking like this for I mean, if life allows it, plan on going with this. So we'll see.
That's great, man. That's really wonderful to hear. I really hope to do a follow-up at some point to hear how your progress is on the raw diet. I know that, like, for me personally, what sold me was when I was 2 months fully raw at the beginning of this past year. I had these just crazy feelings of euphoria and contentment, like I had never had before from food. So I
Yeah.
really feel like there's something to it. What do you think? I know and you watch John Rowe's videos
Yeah.
also. What do you think about the biophoton theory?
It's funny. It's funny that he calls it biophotons, because I I look at it like more on like a spiritual level. It's kind of how my mind operates. I just could like call it like God energy, like creator energy. And I just look at it from a very simplistic point of view, that like our creator made these things for us to sustain ourselves. And this is away from the breatharianism, because I I have pondered, are we even, when we were naturally designed, if we were ever supposed to eat anything, we can handle so much. It's like we're adaptable, you know. But it's just we have this stuff, right? Food from the ground and from the earth, and it, as much as we don't touch it or manipulate it, it's the best thing possible. So what better can you get than, like an apple on a tree and seeds and nuts that have fallen off a tree? Even better. It's like they're given to you. And then vegetables. So the biophoton theory, the oneness of all, you ain't cooking the life out of your food. You're gonna be filled with life.
So you do believe in a higher power then?
Yeah, I believe in a divine consciousness. I mean, I wouldn't say I
Mhm.
believe. I tried that word, the believe word. I mean, I can only know what I've experienced.
Right.
I've experienced some things that are well out of my control, and that I cannot deny the experiences that I've had. So, visually, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of them. So, that's just kind of where I lay my hat on that subject, because believing, you'll debate all day long, but like when you experience, it's undeniable, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, this journey has definitely put me in touch with faith a lot more, and I noticed that when I operate from a place of faith, that
Yeah.
a lot more great things happen in my life. So I mean, I
Yeah.
don't, you
And they're
know,
not coincidences.
right? They're raw food synchronicities.
Oh man, yeah, the synchronicities that happen, you know, and it's just because you're getting closer to source, you know.
Absolutely.
Oh,
So, you know, and that's what this channel is about. It's about really hearing different people's experiences with the raw food and with spirituality in general, and how those connect, and also, you know, how it all helps build our skills and talents. And you seem to have like a great number of talents and a lot of experience. Um, so that's really why I wanted to have you on here, because you know, it sets an example to live by for a lot of other people who can relate to your situation.
well, I I tell a lot of people that I used to like not like to speak to people. I used to not like to show my face to people. I used to not like to like really leave my comfort zone. And that was part of the sickness that was in my mind, living in the fear matrix, living in all that. And now I realize that, you know, we're going through kind of an awakening on this planet. And when you tap into it, it's really undeniable. And because this world needs to shift gears. So if we can get people to not have to mess up or go through the pain and suffering like some people have, and they can learn and grow from other people's just plain experiences themselves, they're smart. it's They would be really smart to listen to people that have messed up and see what they have to say before they go doing it themselves. It's the wise way to live, and I hope that, you know, some people choose to be wise.
That is true. Like, a lot of it is just a choice, and even wisdom.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I had been running a program for a good part of my life that said, you know, you got to learn the hard way. And I'm
No
just sort of
more.
now starting to come back into the, no, you know, I can learn from other people's experiences, and not have to feel like I have to travel that path and gain the negative experience just to see the positive. I can just see the positive.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah, I
and
totally know what you're saying.
we always know what's right or wrong. We always have that conviction, and when we learn to really live by it, it's our guide, you know? So
So, tell me what your favorite foods are so far on your raw foodist journey.
I'm kind of a I'm kind of a mono fruit guy so far in the morning ish, and I love salads, and I'm gonna get into sprouting my own stuff, you know, sprouting my greens. But I do all the coconut almond yogurts and stuff, and hemp yogurt and all that. But other than that, man, we kind of eat the same thing all the time. Us raw food people. It's not like we have a wide variety to, you know, like I eat a lot of the same thing, and it's still amazing every time I eat it because it's what I need.
Yeah, well, it would be really interesting to see what you eat in a day video or something,
You know
just to
what?
get an idea.
That's a good idea. I will maybe do that. Yeah, that'd be cool. Good idea. I
Yeah,
ate
you know, just put it
like
out
this
there.
morning. I ate 9 bananas for my breakfast and like lunch. You know, but you like so many people like nutritionists or they're gonna be like, oh my god, 9 bananas, you're gonna like die. I
All
thought
the
amazing.
potassium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So what about your energy levels, and are you still doing any athletics or exercise of any kind?
yeah, I do. I've had a kind of a change with all that in my mind too. Like I said in some of my other videos, you know, I used to be a pretty intense dude. I used to be like 185 pounds, like just twice, like a lot bigger. Um, and I just don't care anymore about that. Like, so I've always done yoga, and I've dove really deep into yoga. My practice has really progressed. So I really love yoga. I like more progressive exercise like rock climbing, but mainly yoga. And I probably will go back to the gym to strengthen my spine. Um, but right now, I'm just kind of flowing with life and seeing where it takes me. I just stay healthy, stay loose, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're also seems like you're pretty self-actualized at this point. I mean, you're married, correct?
Yes.
And and you have this in my eyes, it seems like a pretty successful business. If I was doing what I loved, like that on that level, and I had a location to heal people, I would say that's
Yeah, man.
you know that's
I'm
success. You
beyond
know,
blessed. Beyond blessed. Because I never saw myself doing this, you know.
what
I was trying to be a cop when I got out of the military.
interesting.
Yeah, it took a total
Yeah.
turn.
So when did Be Still come to be? When did that happen in your mind?
I don't know, it just like happened one day. I just was like sitting here on the couch and I was like, "Oh, I floated." The first time I floated, I just was like, I need this in my life. And I built my place and put a float tank in it and told people to come float. It's pretty much how it happened, you know?
That's fantastic. I
I try
really
to make
like
it
have
really
high hopes.
I try to make it really affordable for everybody, you know? So, I want people
How,
to get
how
better. I want people to heal.
how much does a float cost?
I'm $50 for an hour, and then I'm 70 for an hour and a half, and that's in the tank time. So your shower time and all that's not included in that. A lot of float centers will give you like 90 minutes. That includes your showers. Mine, mine's like, and so many times people are in there longer. I've had people like fall asleep in there, and they've been in there like 2 hours, and I'll just let them stay in there. So if I don't have, I'm a pretty easygoing place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, how did you meet your wife? And is she into the raw foods and the spirituality? And
Yeah.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
assume so.
She's riding the wave with me for sure.
Is that how you guys met? Did you meet through that
No, we
that
met
plan?
years ago before I was into any of this. So we've kind of ridden the wave together.
That's so fantastic, man.
And I'll introduce
That's
you to my kids.
hello,
This is this is Havoc, and
adorable.
this is Donald. I have another one too.
That's so cute. Are they vegan dogs as well?
No, they eat meat, but we do make them their own food, and they're probably I'd say like 80% vegan, and their teeth, their coats, they've all gotten better. Um, their health has all improved, and it's really amazing. Our one dog had epilepsy, and we almost have him down to having no seizures. People are very stunned, and we've done a lot of things that we were told not to do with our dog. Put it that way, and they're all better, all of them.
Are you feeding them raw foods or
We give them it's raw. It's not raw.
Freeze-dried raw meat.
We give them like freeze-dried raw food, meat, and we blend all their veggies together. Like whatever our dogs eat, we can eat too.
mm-hmm.
So, like we make all the dehydrated snacks from our vegetable pulp for crackers and stuff, and like they eat that, and so.
You don't do the raw meat yourself, do you?
No, I don't eat that, but I'm saying like
Mm-hmm.
They eat that, and then the rest of their meal is like vegetables.
Yeah, John Rose had a pretty strict protocol for his dog. I know he would only feed it raw food, and he would always stress how they needed the raw meat or raw the backbone, the bones, I guess, is what dogs are supposed to eat. I don't know anything about dogs. I know that they can be vegan. I don't know if that's, great for them. I know with cats absolutely can't be vegan in my mind.
Yeah,
But
I don't really know, but I just know that our dogs get the best of whatever we give them, and they're
that's
healthy.
great.
I mean, they're
That's
very
great.
eyes are clear, coats are good, and we adopted the one dog, and she was really sick, and like really sick, had sores on her body, teeth falling out of her head, and when we put her on the diet, she's 16 years old, she gained 10 years of her life back. So,
Wow,
it's working.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to thank you so much for your time, and uh, I find what you're doing incredible, and I can't wait to visit Be Still. It's in
We're
Pennsylvania, Lansdale, right?
it's near Lansdale, yeah. Yep.
What town is it exactly?
Ottsville.
Oxville.
Yep. So doors open for you, brother, anytime. We can make some good food, put together some
Excellent,
good
man.
stuff.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, you guys are always welcome here as well. We do the monthly potluck. It's Hear Me Raw Vegan Potluck, and it's an open mic.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a great time, man. It's like a party, and we have more than enough rooms to accommodate. So more than happy to have you. You're always welcome here, and I can't wait to check out your flotation center. And also, everyone should check out your YouTube channel, Find Your Light. It's Find Your Light, correct?
Yeah. Find your light. You have to search it as one word for it to come up. I gotta fix that. But yeah, find your light.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching that channel, and like I said earlier, particularly the videos about meditation. I love the way you describe it.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really resonated with me. So
Thank you, my brother.
thank you so much for coming on. And
You.
I will be hitting you up for a a recap or a follow up about your raw food diet and see how it's going.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the progress.
Let's do it.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining, and thank everyone for watching. This is a Raw Rebellion. Just another reminder about this monthly potluck. The potluck this month is December 22nd, Natick, Massachusetts, 13 Common Street, Natick, Massachusetts, 5 to 10 p.m. Feel free to bring some instruments. We will have instruments there already, and bring raw food. And there should be, and I'll also have the juice bar set up.
Nice.
So cool. All right. Thanks, guys. And remember, join the rebellion.